Hey guys, Death Proof here. As you can see, we are in the Act 3 of the game right now, the campaign. We haven't beaten the Cruel campaign yet, but we have made some adjustments. We updated some things. I'll show you guys the upgrades that we just did, and now we're on a different level. As you can see, the Flicker Strike is starting to come in really nicely. We're shattering and smashing. The Herald of Thunder finally kicked in, and it's definitely a game changer. Or the monsters are getting melted. We do have a lot of work to do still. I think we're about 80% of the build, I would say. We're about 80%, 75, 80% of the build, but it's definitely OP'd. It's definitely OP'd, as you can see, just smashing through, clearing maps really quickly. I'll show you guys the upgrades and the stats in a second here, but if you take a look, now the bosses, you can get a little squishy if you're not careful, if you don't pay attention to your energy shield, because we don't have a lot of life, but that's okay. I would say if you need to make an adjustment, you can definitely add a bit to the energy shield and maybe, you know, take a little bit away from the attack, and I'll show you the tree nodes in a little bit. We don't need to be this OP'd. I mean, clearly we're just destroying everything. I mean, I was able to level up really quickly. I was able to clear the parts of Act 3. I mean, look at that. It's insane. It's really good. So let's get into it. Let's take a look and see what changes we made. Okay, so definitely I did some upgrades on my armor and my weapon. You know, I was really holding out because I didn't want to use anything till the end of the game. But then I looked at my stash and I noticed that I had so many of these. I had like over 100 armor scrap and probably like a good 50 to 60 Arcanist's Etcher. And so what I did was I used those to upgrade my gear. Now my staff's at 20% quality, which actually helped out a lot. Now I do have, like I told you guys, I do have the quarterstaff somewhere here that I was using, which this one actually has more DPS. It had more DPS than my unique, so you don't really need a unique. What you could have done is the same thing. You have your armor scrap, you could have upgraded your armor and your weapon, and it does make a big difference. Now this one, I think it's at let's see, boom boom boom, it was a T2 T1, so it wouldn't have gone up too much, but it would have made a difference because of the multiplier effect. So I upgraded this. I did upgrade my armor as well. This thing was getting a little bit beat up. I was a little bit squishy, so we upgraded this as well. I also you guys to upgrade, always go through the entire map, make sure you look at everything, because I was ready to get rid of one of the acts. I forget which level it was, and I got lucky. This one I got really lucky on. There was this, I was about to go to the next stage, but I was like, you know what, there's a corner, let me check the corner. It turned out to be a corner where this one boss was, not a mega boss, regular boss, but she dropped the Bloodstone Amulet, and this, I'm not gonna lie, made a big difference. It gave me 30 plus spirit, which is enough for me to get another buff, which was enough to get me another buff. So now the Herald of Thunder actually works, and it makes a big difference. So I'll get into these a little bit later. So this is the biggest thing I did. I definitely got this amulet, and it made a big difference. I think the other one had like plus 10 or plus 15 spirit. Because though I did add the Herald of Thunder, I was not able to add, I had to take away the clarity. There was a clarity gem here which requires 10 spirit, so I took that off, which was, you know, it's fine. It took us a little bit off the mana regeneration, but it's not a big deal for this build at the moment, although you can tell that the mana does lose a little bit more than usual. I'll have to like fill it once every while, so it's not that big of a deal at this point. So this made a difference. It really enabled me to add the Herald of Thunder, which is awesome. So now on this stage over here in the Azak Bog, the boss that we beat here, they're gonna give us 30 spirit, or maybe even 60 on Cruel. I'll find out in a second here. We'll get 60 spirit or 30. If we get 60 spirit, that's going to be amazing. We can add 2 more buffs, which would make a world of a difference. Probably Grim Feast or another Herald, but I know for a fact we can add some buffs on here once we defeat the boss in this stage. We'll show you how that goes once it's done. That's going to make a big difference. Will give us another build, essentially. So, but right now, I added this ring. You don't have to. It grants an additional skill slot. Honestly, I'm not even using many of these skill slots. Like, it's an extra, I don't need it, and I don't really use the Falling Thunder as often, even though sometimes it could be a little bit OP'd if you smash it at the right time. But for right now, the most important thing is, and even Unbound Avatar, I'm not really taking advantage of it as much. I might change it. That comes in the passive tree here. We might change it. We might not use this Unbound Avatar. We'll see. But take a look at the skills. This is the difference, and this is all going to be in the Mob Analytics link. And by the way, shout out to the dude that let us know that the links aren't working. I'll go ahead and update the links. It's because I got to verify. It's a new account. I have to verify it so I can get the links to work. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. This is what I've changed. I didn't change anything on the rest of these gems, but what I did add was I filled up the charge stat. I filled up some of these a little bit differently. I just added basically what I honestly didn't even go too much into it. Like the Herald of Thunder, I just looked at what could be good, you know, Lightning Infusion, Long Shot, Neural Overload. I figured these will be good, but you can put a lot of things and try combos. I have to actually do more an intricate dive, which we'll do later. I'll have a video specifically for every single gem and why everything is where it's at. But for now, I'm still experimenting, so this is where we're at in this build. However, as you can see, we're leveling up really nice. I mean, you take a look at the difference here. We went to 6,800 DPS on Ice Strike, which is huge. The Flicker Strike went up by 700, and the Falling Thunder's up by 1,000 roughly. The Bell's up by 1,000. Tempest Bell. Here's one thing that I really want to do. I really, on Ice Strike, once I get the Greater Orb, the Jewel, the Perfect Jewel, I think it's called, when I have another slot, I want to put my Rage. I want to put Rage on Ice Strike. That's what I'd like to do. I can build some Rage, see if that makes a difference, and then we can add the Rage consumption somewhere else here. But for now, this build is definitely cool. I'm able to do a lot of damage with it, and then I'll keep you guys posted. But this should be almost enough. Now, the skill tree, we did make some changes on the skill tree. I did, you know, I got a couple of skills leveling up, you know, the book they give you, a couple skills here and there, and then also leveling up by just smashing monsters. So this is the difference. We went ahead and added the Coming Calamity. Adds a bunch of damage, a couple of hundred here and there. And actually, if you take a look at what it did for our strikes, we went from 6,800 to 7,550 once we have the Herald on. So that's another 1,000. And the other thing I added was I went back because I know how we were getting squished. And that's the thing about this build is that it is very dynamic. It's very dynamic. When you feel squishy, you can take away some of these critical chance damages and put them elsewhere. I did add these here. We have the freezing efficiency rating. We're gonna go to this guy right there eventually, but right now the things that we'll focus on increasing is this area where we can get more crit chance and crit hits. This is going to be a focus. We can always add to the shield. This is for if you're getting squishy, this will help you out. And then evasion rating, I do want to fill these nodes and get this part done as well. These two will give us another 30% evasion rating, which is a big deal. And now actually, if you look at the character, our evasion is 80%. The evasion, really, you're not going to feel it until you're at 80% and above. This is when you start evasion, like you can be like, okay, I get it. I'm evading a lot of hits by rolling and so forth. We want to make it up to about 90%, hopefully. If you look at our mana, not that crazy. We don't need a lot of mana. We can increase, like if we increase a couple hundred or 100 at least, we're not going to probably need to refill anytime soon. Maybe once in a boss or something, but energy shield, it did drop a bit from the 900 to 750. I'm still not as squishy though. It's because the evasion went up, but this is something we can definitely increase a little bit, and you can do that through the tree in different areas. So eventually, once you end the game, you're gonna get this thing called distillation, where you can a bunch of these nodes. You don't have to actually like this one, for example, shatter, right? So this one I might check into. It gives you 25% increased freeze buildup, 15 chill, and 15 magnitude. This is pretty heavy, man. And you don't need to go through the whole tree to get here. You can actually, if you click on Alt, you see those 3 things at the top. These are emotions: greed, fear, and despair. When you end the game, these are things you'd be able to get and then use those to infuse with the amulet, and then this will turn on. Automatically it will turn on. And you can take it and start going from there. So that'll be towards the end. We're not going to worry about that right now. In the moment, I'm just going to enjoy melting these monsters, and that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys please help us grow this channel. I have like 2 subscribers, what I'm happy for. I'm also on Twitch. I live stream this stuff on Twitch, so you can see my frustrations and the building process. But please like, subscribe, and comment. Again, shout out to the person that let us know that the links aren't working in the description. I'll make sure to fix that. Thank you, and peace out.